You don't
blasphemy against you. Who the hell are you? Are you Jesus Christ, you loser? Okay, can I just give the correct answer for once?
When you have Harry Sisson laughing at you like that, you know that you have problems. So today, guys, we have Professor Allan Lichtman, and the clips are going to get into who he is and why it is that he does what he does. He's been predicting who the president is going to be. He's done so successfully for several decades, but this election was different. And the interaction between him and Cenk Uygur, somebody that I vehemently disagree with for everything, is going to show you exactly why he's so upset with Professor Lichtman, and it's going to expose one very glaring issue that I think everybody is overlooking, guys. The fact that we as human beings tend to look at people and put super amounts of blind faith into them because they have these titles and they publish these books. But at the end, the Bible is always clear. The only one who deserves your faith nonstop, the only one who deserves that kind of trust is God. People can fail. Systems, theories, and constructs can fail. And as you can see, the 13 keys, as mighty as they may seem, can fail. So let's check this interaction out, and as usual, you will catch my thoughts a little in the middle, and of course, on the other side. Let's man up.
My next guest, known as the Nostradamus of U.S. elections for correctly predicting 9 of the last 10 presidential races, using his own 13 keys to the White House, criteria a candidate must win in order to achieve victory. Well, he now says that he's ready to call the race. American University history professor Allan Lichtman.
Democrats will hold on to the White House, and Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States.
And I finally come to my final prediction and concluded that the White House party, the Democrats, now represented by Kamala Harris, would not lose any more than 5 keys. Thus, my prediction is Kamala Harris will be a precedent-breaking president of the United States, the first woman president in U.S. history.
So I want to cut in here real quick, guys, because I want to let you know something. Allan Lichtman has been predicting presidential results for decades now, and he knew that people would be blind enough to just pretty much accept whatever it was that he said. The problem was that he fictitiously answered a lot of the keys to make it seem like Kamala Harris was going to win the White House because that's the outcome that he was desiring. But even worse than that is that he didn't overestimate himself. He knew that there would be people who would have enough faith in him who don't have faith in God to just trust what he said. And that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to dissuade people and discourage them for voting for conservative values and just go ahead and say, you know what, if he's saying it's going to happen, then that's what's going to happen. But it just goes to show, guys, that no matter what model, theory, no matter what person you're talking about, you can't put faith in them. The only one who deserves your trust, your faith, and your undevoted idolization is Jesus Christ.
Don't blame the voters. I think, look, we could get into this discussion, but one, I think you're blaming the voters. I think that's a terrible idea. Look, I debated Professor Lichtman before. I told him his theories about the keys were absurd. I was right. He was wrong. I said he'd lose his keys.
No, you were not right, and I was not wrong. And that's a cheap shot, and I won't stand for it.
Well, who won, brother?
You should not be taking cheap shots at me.
Who won?
You want to make your point,
live in a total world of denial.
I read your own followers' comments, and they all trashed you, every one of them, and supported me.
Yeah,
so
right,
it with your personal attacks.
Come find out again.
Make whatever point you want. Don't make it personal.
You don't know anything. You don't know anything.
You attacked me personally.
You're so deluded.
Oh, right. I've only been a professor for 51 years.
On this program, I've never been able to finish a thought.
How many books have you published? No, because you're personally attacking me again. Say whatever you want, but I'm not going to stand for
brother, you got it wrong.
Say whatever you want.
You were preposterously and stupidly wrong. So, okay, all right. Can I just finish a goddamn thought?
Don't call me stupid. I don't need you to call me stupid.
Okay.
Can I just say, it's great to see you Democrats all getting along so well.
Who taught you manners?
It's lovely to see a post-election harmony as you all come together again.
We're just one right now. Hey, Allan, you deserve a tall glass of shut-up juice, so can you just shut up for a second? And let someone who knows what they're doing.
You're so right, Pierre. You're so right. We're so unified right now.
You want, I will not sit here and stand for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do that. You don't
blasphemy against you. Who the hell are you? Are you Jesus Christ, you loser? Okay, can I just give the correct answer for once? Okay, here we go.
You ain't black. Let's start with some truth straight out of the Bible. Proverbs 16:18 says, Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. That verse perfectly sums up what just happened between Cenk Uygur and Allan Lichtman. Lichtman, who's the self-proclaimed election wizard, claimed that Kamala Harris was a lock for the presidency, right? Using his so-called 13 keys to the White House. That, of course, he lied about, as I alluded to earlier. But even Uygur, who's as far left as it gets and an atheist on top of that, couldn't stomach how ridiculous that sounded. And let's be honest, when Cenk Uygur is the one calling you out, it says a lot about the situation. The whole thing was embarrassing. Lichtman could not defend his keys when Uygur pressed him on how wrong he was. And instead of answering the questions, Lichtman got defensive and started throwing around personal attacks about Cenk Uygur's followers and his comment section. It was absolutely ridiculous. But that's what happens when someone's pride gets in the way of admitting that they're wrong. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 9 says it clearly. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Lichtman's act wasn't fooling anyone. Not Uygur, not the audience, and definitely, and most importantly of all, not God. Even Harry Sisson was laughing at him for crying out loud. Now, let's talk about Lichtman's meltdown, okay? He actually claimed that Uygur was committing blasphemy against him. Seriously? Blasphemy? Bro, you're not God. You're just a professor who got way too comfortable believing his own lies. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 19 says, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and the discernment of the discerning I will thwart. Lichtman's arrogance and refusal to engage honestly just proved that no amount of academic credentials can save you when you're wrong, as every human being is from time to time. But here's what really stood out. Cenk Uygur, an atheist, completely exposed Lichtman's nonsense. He saw through the lies, through the ego, and he wasn't afraid to call it out. That's something to think about. If someone who doesn't even believe in God can see how off this guy is, what does that say about the rest of us? It's a reminder to stop putting blind faith in human systems and look to God for wisdom where it comes from. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. We have got to stop relying on people with fancy titles and look to the one who actually knows what he's doing. Because at the end of the day, guys, I'm going to tell you, this wasn't about proving one guy wrong. It's about learning who we should trust and what true leadership looks like. Proverbs 14:34 says it again. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Real leaders do not manipulate or throw tantrums when they're questioned. They serve with humility, integrity, and most importantly of all, submission to God. So take this as a lesson. Don't get caught up in theories, egos, or empty promises. Stick to what's real, what's true, and what's grounded in scripture. That's where you'll find the kind of leadership and wisdom we desperately need today. And finally, Lichtman's 13 keys model is nothing but another illustration of something that I learned long ago. No matter how smart anyone thinks they are, and no matter how much faith the world decides to put into a person or a theory or a model, there is no person, no theory, and no system that will ever trump the might of God. And yes, there was definitely a pun intended. No matter what, Allan Lichtman knew what he was doing when he intentionally falsified the own questions in his key model because he was trying to run interference for what he thought would be enough to get people to not vote or vote differently because of his model. But at the end of the day, people are waking up. God is infusing wisdom into the necessary individuals to say enough is enough, progressivism doesn't work, it's a cancer that needs to be stomped out, and we're going to vote the way we want to vote regardless of what people like Professor Lichtman say. No matter what, guys, you can't trust in people, you can only trust in God, and this is just another example of how, no matter what model claims to be right almost 10 times out of 10, it will never, ever be as wise and as perfect as the Almighty. Hey guys, I pray to God that you liked the video, and if you did, please type amen in the comment section if you agree, and if you don't, go ahead and leave those comments also, just keep it respectful. As always, please don't forget to like the video, hit the sub button, share the video, and smash that bell for event notifications, guys, so you never miss a new video. If you love what you see and you want to become a channel sponsor, you can hit that join button where the sponsorship trailer will explain the different tier options and the perks that you'll get as a result of joining each individual plan. Also, don't forget to check out our merch store, as I recently added a ton of new merchandise to the store, and I would love to see nothing more than to see some of you guys wearing the Cross Unit logo out there in the wild. Lastly, the link to my Buy Me a Coffee is there as well. Of course, you're not required to do any of that. Just having you here with me is more than enough, and I am extremely grateful to God for your fellowship. As always, guys, be safe, be good, and be blessed. Remember that Jesus is King and the literal only way to heaven. So for those of you who haven't started a relationship with him yet, please consider it, because when he comes back for his people, it's gonna happen just like this. Down.